Yeah, he was very unpredictable in this event, because sometimes I would go there to train really hard, in other words, to get a very cardio workout, and sometimes we'd go out there and it wouldn't be a cardio workout, it would be a lecture on philosophy and why we were studying the martial arts and the purpose of it. So in that way, he was like, you have to expect sometimes a philosophical type of workout, and sometimes it would be very, very cardiovascular or muscular type of workout. He loved to experiment. He loved to research other martial arts, and sometimes he would have me do other martial arts at him so he could see what was the strengths and weaknesses of different martial arts. He would show me that, well, this is the way sometimes praying mantis, southern mantis attacks, and sometimes this is the way of northern mantis, or this is the way Charlie fought, and let's find out some of the strengths and weaknesses of each. And I think that's what made him really unique. So for me, it was really educational, because I began to kind of appreciate a little bit of every system, because they have, as he calls, advantage and disadvantages, strengths and weaknesses also.
Well, I was humbled, because I always felt that you know, that I really didn't have much to offer him. You know, he could have just passed over me and just gone to the next step, which he did physically. But he never forgot me. You know, I have letters. You know, he wrote to me at least once a month, and he was after he left here, and kept me informed of what he was doing, the kind of ideas that he had, the progress he was making, and many letters that showed some discouragement, because the project that he was working on, where he never gave up. I mean, he was always, I don't know how many times letters he sent me where the project failed, but before the letter ended, he was already telling me about the next project he was working on, and so that's been a very strong teaching, you know, feeling for me, because you know, I think there's not a one of us that goes through life without a lot of strife and negativeness and fear and all these things, but you know, it's up to you. Are you going to give up, or are you going to keep going? And it's one of the things that I learned from Bruce, that we have to just keep going, you know.
He would say, before I learned Kung Fu, a tree was a tree, a bowl was a bowl. Now that I am studying Kung Fu, a tree is no longer a tree, a bowl is not a bowl. Now that I have mastered Kung Fu, a tree is a tree, a bowl is a bowl. Which means when you first start to learn something, yes, someone will say, here, catch this ball. They throw it to you, and you just catch it. You didn't think about it. But then they say, okay, now you're gonna be a baseball player, and I'm gonna throw the ball to you. Plant your feet, put your body in this position, put your hands like that, and catch. See, you have to think about it. But now,
step by step.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that you've been playing baseball or whatever for a long time, they throw you the ball, you don't even think about it, you catch it. And that's the way when you master something, as I do with cutting hair, I don't have to think about it, it just happens. The same with Bruce, his art, he mastered it, so he never had to think about anything, he just did it.
There's a person so young, and when he talked, you listen, you know, and the way he talked about philosophy, like what real life is, you know, and some people can go through life and go through a lot of problems, and sometimes he can solve that certain thing without avoiding all these problems, you know, because we make our own problem, you know, actually. Yes. So if you can see it ahead of time, and we always listen to him. When he comes to my house, we always have dinner which ready, because we just want to listen to him to just talk, you know. And when he talks, everybody listens.
All the equipment that pertain to his body, in other words, he really thinks a lot of his body. He don't think anything. He don't drink or smoke, but he thinks a lot about it. That all this equipment I made for him, and he was happy with it. And like I say, he designed it, and I make it. Constantly drawing things, like even the nunchucks, you know, and his kicking shield for him to kick. He designed a lot of time I make it. He's not satisfied. It's too small or too big. not enough foam. So we went through that for a couple of years. And even when he went to he got to Hollywood for the Green Hornet, he's still sending me letter and sketching out. Say, can you make something like that? So I did it for him, and it's just what I learned from him. He kind of changed my life a little, and all the kung fu that I used to learn in China, forget it. His is so precise, so it's perfect. I would say that when you learn from him, there's nothing more to learn, as far as I'm concerned now.
清風俠之後，小龍嘅電影事業阻滯重重，只好返香港發展。不過喺1971年，小龍受到香港電影人周文懷嘅賞識，邀請拍攝《唐山大兄》一片。之後，《精武門》、《猛龍過江》一系列嘅李小龍功夫電影都屢創佳績，令到小龍一時聲名大噪。喺1972年年底，美國華納電影公司就派攝製人員專程嚟香港，為小龍拍攝《龍爭虎鬥》一片。
Well, I mean, one of the things I remember is that the first day we shot with Bruce, he had avoided it for a couple of days. He was just sort of building himself up to it, and he was very nervous. He was very nervous, and we decided we wouldn't shoot the scene we had planned. We took something where he wouldn't have to do much, and the very first scene we shot was where he was sitting in his room on Hans Island, and they paraded the girls in, because he didn't have to do anything except sort of nod.
Just look at the girls, huh?
Yeah. And the minute we got over the first couple of takes, he was fine. It was, and from then on, I mean, he got so involved in it. Then after we finished shooting, he had some other ideas, and he kept shooting himself. And some of it we used. I mean, some of it was marvelous little bits of things that he put in.
李小龍武打電影嘅成功，唔單止將中國功夫發揚光大，更令佢成為美國一位超級巨星。不過喺1973年7月20號，一個令人難以置信、令人痛心疾首嘅消息，轟動咗國際。李小龍突然昏迷，送院後不治逝世，享年32歲。
咁其實當佢過身嗰陣時，你嗰陣時係嘛？1973年我仲記得嗰日，我剛同阿爸去出去買唱盤，嗰時仲係興放膠碟嗰啲嘢。嚇！咁啊買完翻屋企，好似住 apartment， 玻璃咁啊拎入去，放低跟住電話響，咁啊我接電話嘅，係我個同學打俾我，佢喂有冇睇電視啊？我話你大佬死咗嚇！我因為嗰條友好中意講笑，我唔係啊嘛，佢講笑揾第二樣啊嘅，我講我唔係啊，因為嗰時喺美國你知啦，到依家都係4點、5點、6點有新聞，嗰時係4點零鐘嘅啦。咁佢唔信你開嚟睇啊，咁跟住就收咗線。咁嗰陣時我都唔敢話俾啲阿嫲聽，我話死啦，唔知真定假，真係開嚟睇。咁嗰陣時佢又喺廳，我又喺廳，一睇真係美國新聞講出嚟。咁梗係即刻喊咯，咁我都打過突咯，咁啊即刻打睇先，嗰時打俾阿嫂即係小龍我太太，咁嗰時好亂啊，睇先嗰時即係心情好亂，咁你阿嫲又喺度喊，亦都講唔到乜嘢出去，咁係我問我喂，咁使唔使我哋翻嚟？咁你阿嫂話唔使喎，你阿嫂咩嘢？冇嘢，即係我自己諗翻轉頭，即係。阿嫂就係佢就話我哋會將個遺體送去西雅圖，喺西雅圖見咯，就係咁。即係咁打得突，真係好快，你根本冇遇到，點會諗到就係咯，諗都諗唔到。
小龍嘅葬禮喺香港舉行，萬人空巷，一同追悼呢一位國際武術巨星。其後小龍嘅遺孀 Linda 將小龍嘅遺體送到位於西雅圖美麗而寧靜嘅華盛頓湖畔安葬。每年，小龍嘅學生同埋大量嘅追隨者都會親自嚟到小龍嘅墓前憑吊一番。 以表佢哋對呢一位一代武術宗師同埋國際巨星嘅懷念。